Welcome back to Neodog Podcast, episode 93. Great start. Today we're gonna talk about the first Chucky movie from 1988. Child's Play. As you probably can hear, I'm not feeling very well, so it's gonna be probably a delirious episode for me. But I got two of the other crew members on board for this tiddling, toddling terror of
And we're not as
Chucky.
delusional.
No, I hope not.
Not yet, at least.
As you can hear, Zombie and Ogge is with me here today, so hopefully they can come
So yeah,
in.
hello. So yeah,
Hi.
we can keep you in check.
Yeah, I hope so at least. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna say before we venture into the recently series is that I want to apologize about the low volume of the last episode. A friend of mine pointed it out for me, so I have done a new rendering of the episode. It will be out on some other platforms in the near future. I can't really say anything else besides that right now, but it will be available soon. Until then, you just have to, force yourself through the low the low volumes of the last episode.
Or just wait until this episode drops. Either one works.
Well, they are listening to this episode, so
Yeah.
Hopefully.
that didn't make any sense. Okay. Okay. Have you guys watched anything since we last recorded? Okay, you haven't been on since the Tusk episode, I think.
Sounds that
I
right.
think so.
Uh,
I remember watching the newest Thor movie on cinema, and it was entertaining but very forgettable. Like, I don't remember anything of it.
wow,
Nice.
that's some high praises right there.
Yeah, but that's Marvel movies for you.
Yeah,
At the Oh, you?
no, go
Okay.
ahead, go ahead.
I feel like that.
I mean, they're good. Oh,
No.
no, go ahead.
I'm just interrupting everyone right now. I'm sorry. You go.
But that's kind of like the Marvel movies are. They're a good watch, but you forget everything about it. I also I don't know if I've mentioned it on the Tusk episode, but I also watched the new Doctor Strange movie, and it was pretty much the same. Where I enjoyed it, but I have no idea what it's about now. All I know is it was entertaining.
I saw a review of it by the Critical Drinker. He's a Scottish YouTuber, and he basically tore the movie a new asshole, sorta. But he basically said it was a complete mess of a story. But I don't know. I'm not very interested in the Marvel movies, to be honest.
I feel like
Yeah.
it has become much more of a problem after Endgame, because like before Endgame it was consistent and worked, and it was good because they
Yeah.
took the time with each and every movie to like get to the end of that like arc.
Yeah.
But after that, after Endgame, they decided to release like a shit ton of like shows. Like sure, they had a few shows before Endgame, but after Endgame, it was like a flood wave of like shows and movies, so it feels like they don't take the same amount of care and time as they did with the ones before, which is why they tend to be much more forgettable than its predecessors.
Yeah.
Like, sure, none of the before ones were like extremely memorable, but I feel like they are still more memorable than the ones that are coming out currently or the last few years,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is very
I
sad.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw the end game, and that's a legit good movie.
Yeah,
Like that was good.
Isn't it like 3,000 years long or something?
it is very long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, for a superhero movie.
yeah, it's probably like 3 hours, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, I haven't seen it, but it doesn't really pique my interest either. So
I like to put it in the same category as the Return of the King, where it's like it is long as fuck, but it is that because it is the end goal or the end game or whatever
yeah,
Of the
the end game. Yeah,
of the series and franchise.
Is there basically non-stop action throughout the entire film, like in Return of the King, or
Yeah, it
Yeah,
it is very like action packed, the end game, and like it does have its small quiet moments, but yeah, I think at least once it's worth a watch.
yeah. It makes in that movie it makes sense for it to be that long, big, epic showdown because it's basically about
Because that's what it is.
the end of the world, sort of. Yeah, that it's built up to be it that way.
Yeah,
But if you compare it to like the latest Spider-Man movie, that's just another Spider-Man movie. That one is also like super long, and it has like all the fucking Spider-Mans and all the villains just because it needs to be big.
yeah. I haven't seen that one, but I've seen a few like moments of it, like clips, and like it does look interesting, but it also feels like you only see the good parts, and you haven't seen the whole
Well,
movie.
it's a popcorn, brain dead popcorn flick. You're not gonna remember much of it, but it's entertaining.
Yeah,
But the story doesn't make any sense, and it's just a mess, story wise.
although
Well,
it's very nice to see Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man.
the thing with the whole all Spider-Man villains thing is that they started with the whole Spider-Verse after the Into the Spider-Verse animated movie with Miles Morales and
Yeah,
everything. And that movie is, by the way, fucking great. It's hands down one of the best Spider-Man movies out there. If you haven't checked it out, you go and do it. It's really fucking good. But yeah, I don't have that a big interest in superhero movies, to be honest.
same.
I mean, I don't run away screaming if I have to watch one, but
You don't actively seek them out.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the old the first two Batman movies. I really like. The third and fourth one are laughing stocks. The Nolan movies are okay, and I think they are a bit hyped up, overrated.
Yeah,
The best thing with the Dark Knight is Heath Ledger as the Joker, hands down. There's nothing else that even comes close to his performance in that movie.
For me, I like watching movies like that on the cinema, but I would never watch it at home because I want to have this big, the experience of a big screen TV with explosions and
Yeah,
It's a good cinema movie.
Yeah. But, like watching it at home, it's too boring. I need something else for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a shitty 90s B action flick.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that's old but gold.
Yeah, exactly. Had you watched anything else, Ogge? We trailed off here.
Yeah, probably, but I don't remember it.
Did you check out Get Out?
No, I still haven't seen it. It's definitely on my to watch list.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was everything that you could remember, at least.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Oh, okay. Sorby, you have watched 30 movies, I heard.
What? No, please don't. No.
What?
Don't put me on blast like that, man.
But have you catched anything? Books, podcasts, movies, games.
I'm racking my brain right now. Oh, like I feel like I have something. It's just like I'm. My brain is running, but that thing is running just a little bit faster than I am. Oh, what was it? I have listened while at work on books.
Yeah.
I have recently started the Bone Witch series, which is a very interesting listen.
I think you mentioned it on the Cabin in the Woods episode.
I might have.
I know you mentioned something.
Yeah, because
I
I
can't
have.
remember what it was.
Because so far I have read the first and second one. I am currently about to start the third one. And so far it is a very good series because like the second book continues and picks up directly almost directly like where the first one left off.
Yeah.
Because the first one ended very well, but it still went like like this isn't the end of the story because it's very interesting because it's like it begins at like the midway point of the story in a way. And that's where the main character starts to tell her backstory. And so you're back in time to tell how she got at the point where the book starts. While at the end of every chapter, you go back to that point and it continues to move. So when the first book...
That sounds a bit weird, but okay.
So like when the first book ends, it still hasn't gotten to the start of the book, in a sense, because you haven't gotten to where the character like ended.
Oh, you mean the start of the character's story arc?
Yeah, because like
Okay.
you meet this like exiled like witch, and she's telling this story to a bard, and so you're listening to this her backtelling of the story, and then you come back to when she's telling the story because she's still doing stuff and moving this story forward, because just because you met her while exiled, she still isn't done with whatever the fuck happened to fuck her up in the first place.
Okay, yeah.
And so when the book ends, it just ended at like one of the major life points and turning points in her life, but it still hasn't like explained, hey, why are you exiled? Why are people still saying that you killed someone? What is up with that?
Okay, so it leaves the reader or listener, depending on which format you use. it leaves the reader or listener with a cliffhanger then.
Yeah. So the second one picks up in the same kind of fashion. She still moves on and do stuff, and then like a character that's alive in the backstory turns out to be dead, and it's like, well, how does this happen? And the second book still doesn't explain it. Now I gotta read or listen to the third book. God damn it. Because you still haven't found out why she's exiled. You have an idea, but it keeps you hooked. It's very well done in that way.
Yeah, okay.
And I have still continued listening to Dungeons and Daddies, as I earlier mentioned in the earlier, which
Yeah.
the catchphrase was
You should explain that to Ogge so he doesn't get any ideas of what that is.
the thing.
Please do.
The way they always start the episodes is, "Welcome to Dungeons and Daddies, not a BDSM podcast. A few episodes in, a sometimes BDSM podcast," because of all the sex jokes they make. It is basically just D&D where 4 people role play 4 dads that has been cast into the world of D&D, where they have to save their kids that happen to get kidnapped while they travel to this plane. So you have a various plethora of dads, and like it's very fun to listen to because like the humor is very on point, and they even put in a system where, because they're all dads, if they make a dad joke, all the other dads have to take damage, physical damage.
Wow.
Yeah, and like one or two of the characters almost died because of like they had fought something, and then all the dad jokes that ensued after, where they like had to say like, "No more dad jokes, I'm about to die." So yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
Highly recommend
Yeah,
it.
the whole show is a dad joke, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They made a game reference where they had a Battle Royale game, but only knights could compete in that game. And so, because it was only knights that was allowed to play in that Battle Royale, it was named 4 Knights.
Oh, okay.
So
It's a play on Fortnite.
So it was only 4 Knights. Yeah.
Wow.
And like the second they realized it, like the whole room erupted. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a D&D kind of guy. I've never been interested in it, but it sounds like a fun podcast.
Oh yeah, highly recommended. Because it's like it's a kind of like D&D podcast where you don't need to be like interested in D&D to get it, because they're not like extreme about all the rules and what you can do in the game.
Okay, yeah.
So you can just casually listen.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Have you catched anything else?
Sadly, no. I wish I could say yes. But I have been on that Elder Scrolls grind.
Never ends.
It never truly does.
They're releasing a new game, right? Basically, Elder Scrolls in space. It's Star something.
What?
Star...
What?
Yeah.
I
That's
know.
new.
I know that Elder Scrolls 6 is in development, but it has been in development for
Forever.
forever. Yeah. They showed a teaser on E3 like I think it was 3 years ago, and it said coming soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, and I play
Yeah,
mainly the online game version, so I'm not too up to date with the actual game of it all.
Yeah, the game series.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But
sadly.
Elder Scrolls in space. What's that about, Ogge?
Oh, it's the Bethesda, those who made Elder Scrolls. They're
Yeah.
starting like a new franchise, and I just looked it up. It's called Starfield.
Oh.
So
Oh.
it's
Okay.
pretty much Elder Scrolls but in space.
Yeah. Was it that game that looks really fucking rough? I mean,
Uh,
graphically.
it's a Bethesda game, so yes.
Fair, fair.
Well, they were publishers for those games, like the Wolfenstein games, the latest ones, and the Doom games, the latest ones.
I feel like
Yeah.
it will be like the art and like the game animations will be very well for like the trailers and whatnot, and then when you jump into it's like
They, they showed some gameplay footage on a game show not too long ago, and it looks really rough. The
Yeah.
graphics looked a bit like the 360 PS3 era.
oh nice.
So
Yeah. But that's how all their games look, in my opinion. But they still make them, I guess they're still kind of fun to play.
Yeah,
They're more like, time wasting game than anything else.
I feel like
But they don't look or play very well, especially compared to like modern games.
yeah.
yeah, just take Fallout 76 for example.
Oh dear God, that was a disaster.
Yeah. I feel like you don't need extremely well like graphics all the time if you have good gameplay.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a ton of boomer shooters out there nowadays,
Yeah.
which has the pixel art style of graphics, and they're fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, Project Warlock, that's a pixel art type of game. It's sort of like if Hexen and Quake got a love child, a pixel art love child. Because you got spells and like shotguns,
Yeah.
miniguns, rocket launchers, and so on.
Mm.
And a lot of the enemies are inspired from like horror movies. So there are a enemy in Project Warlock that is a reference to The Thing in John Carpenter's The Thing.
Nice.
And you meet them in a Antarctic setting as well. And some of the enemies are downright fucking frightening. Actually, they are really freakish. The design of the enemies are really freakish at times. But I can highly recommend Project Warlock. It's really, really good.
Okay. Cool.
Noted.
Well, we're almost 30 minutes into the episode. We're
And
not even done with the recently seen.
The
Okay, so,
railing is true in this one.
Yeah, but that's all good.
That's what makes it fun.
Okay, so I got a couple of things I've been watching. I haven't had the time to sit down to watch that much. I did rewatch the Uwe Boll adaptation of Postal like 2 weeks ago. And the reason I rewatched it was because I've been on a sort of a Postal binge the last 6 months. I've been playing through Postal 3, unfortunately. That's a piece of shit. even running with scissors, the developers and creators of Postal says it is a piece of shit. And I've been listening to all of the episodes they've released of I Regret Nothing podcast, which is Running with Scissors' own podcast. I can highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun to listen to. And I've also been playing Postal Redux, which is a remake of the original Postal. And I also been playing the original Postal, as well as the fourth installment in the series Postal 4, No Regrets. So I've been on a sort of a binge of a Postal lately, so I thought to myself, hell, I might as well rewatch the movie as well while I'm at it. And have you guys seen the Postal movie?
No.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, what do you think?
It was a long time since I watched, but I thought when I saw it, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah. Uwe Boll is well known for his shitty adaptations of games. He's done a adaptation of Far Cry, Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead. I think he has done 3 Dungeon Siege movies as well, In the Name of the King and Blood Rain, and most of them are not very good. But I think the Postal movie is sort of like what Postal is after the first game, from Postal 2 and onwards. I think Zach Ward is really good as the Postal dude in it, because he basically is this loser guy who everyone just shits on, and he gets to a point when he's just like, well, fuck it. The only problem I have with the movie is that it should have been more violent than it is. I mean, it's a Postal movie, so it should have been more violent.
Yeah.
And according to Mike J on Running with Scissors, they wrote a script for the movie because Uwe Boll got in contact with them to get the rights to do a Postal movie, and they wrote a script which was a lot darker than what we got, and Uwe Boll was like, yeah, we're not gonna use this script, and he wrote his own.
Nice.
But according to Mike J, Uwe Boll used some of the stuff from their script in his Rampage movie. And Uwe Boll's Rampage trilogy, as well as what's it called? Attack on Wall Street, I think is one of the titles of it, with Dominic Purcell. Those are his best movies, hands down, because they're serious, they're dark, and they got a commentary on, how society is.
Nice.
I've been meaning to watch the Rampage movies, or at least Rampage 1.
The first one is the best one, but
Yeah.
I like the sequels as well. But yeah, the Postal movie, I think it's fine. I mean, it could have been more violent, but it's still got that offensive touch to it,
Yeah.
There's a scene where a cop gets out of his car with a shotgun and just blasts a old woman in the face.
What?
Yeah, just because she doesn't, drive when it's green light.
Wow.
And the same cop uses a handicapped man to get money.
Yeah.
Well,
It's that sort of humor in the movie.
it sounds unhinged, but also very lovely.
Yeah,
is.
it is pretty offensive, but it is funny because it is that offensive. Uwe Boll is even in the movie as himself, and he says something in the lines of, well, people ask me where I get all the money from to make my movies, and they assume that it is Nazi gold, which it is, Uh, he's German, by the
Wow.
way. So
Oh, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
I still like the Postal movie, even though I think it could have been a lot more violent and dark than it is. So next movie I saw was it's a movie from 2015, which is a remake of a 2008 movie. The movie from 2015 is called Tag outside of Japan. It's a Japanese movie. I can't remember what the English title of the original was, but it was something different. The plot in Tag, if you ask me what it is about, I can't tell you. Because
It's just that, like,
it-
hard to
it's a
explain.
it's a really really weird one. It's about this girl who she's the sole survivor in a really weird, in quotations, accident in which all of her classmates die. And she runs away and finds herself. Well, but yeah. I can't explain what the fuck the movie is about because it almost feels like it's they just film a lot of scenes without much connection to each other, and they just edit them together. But I read up on a theory what the movie is about, and the author of the theory said that she believed that the movie is about queer Japanese women needs to stop caring what other thinks about them and make their own future. So it's according to this author, of course.
Yeah.
The movie is about. It has a feminist and LGBTQ. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Underlying message. But it's a really weird movie. It's sort of a mishmash between action, horror, and teenage drama. And there's not much that makes any sense in it. Would I recommend it?
If you want to be confused for a few, like, hours.
It's about 95 minutes, but those are some of the most weird 95 minutes I've ever been through. It got some really good laugh out loud moments because of how fucking absurd things are in it. Yeah, it's a weird one. If you guys want to check it out, I can help you out with that.
Yes, please.
But yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. It's a really weird movie. It lingers a little bit on the art house spectrum of filming as well, because there are a lot of shots that are not really meant to make sense, but they are beautiful in a sense. So
Like,
yeah,
just nonsensical, like, beauty. Like, yeah.
yeah, like there's a scene where there's a lot of feathers. I think they rip apart a pillow and just throw around the feathers, and it goes in slow motion, and it doesn't really add anything to the plot. It just is there.
Maybe just a symbolism or just pause.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, the last thing I'm gonna talk briefly about is a Indonesian horror movie from 2010 called Affair. It's about two childhood friends who meet up in college, and one of them gets in love with a guy who is in a relationship with the other girl, which she doesn't know. And this girl who is in the relationship doesn't want her to know either, because she doesn't want
To break her heart.
to. Yeah, exactly. And she does find out, and pretty soon, she tells the girl in the relationship that she has a brain tumor.
Oh, lovely.
So the girl in the relationship makes her boyfriend, well, get involved with the first girl.
That's
And
messed up.
yeah, just because, you know, she doesn't have that much time left.
Yeah.
But then things starts to take a turn for the worse, and everything gets unforeseen consequences at the end. I like this movie, but the first 30 minutes are really weird, and they used like a jump scare sound effect every minute. It's a really weird, because some of the things are like there's nothing there. So I was like, okay, what? And to be honest, I would have been fine if this movie was like 45-50 minutes, because the movie comes to a point where it feels like it is the climax of the movie, and then it continues on 30 more minutes. So the last act of the film feels really tacked on, and it felt like they didn't really have the script to make a 1+ hour movie, so they had to add more things at the end of the film to make it a full-length feature. But and there are a lot of weird editing and a lot of shaky cam during the actions, which I didn't like, and I, to be honest, hate shaky cam. But like I said, I would have been fine if the movie was 45-50 minutes. It would have been a good running time for this movie because of what happens in it. But yeah, a marginal recommendation for that one. I liked it, but it has some problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some movies are like good yet flawed.
Yeah, some movies really need some good editor.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, shall we roll the trailer for Child's Play then?
Yeah, I think we should.
This is gonna be a long one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, here is the trailer for 1988's Child's Play.
Everyone has a birthday they'll always remember.
Can we open my presents now, Mommy? A good guy! I knew it! I'm Chucky.
He's something, isn't he?
This is Andy's.
Time for bed, Andy. Good night, baby.
Good night, Aunt Maggie. Good night, Chucky.
Everyone knows most accidents happen at home.
How did that happen?
This is no accident.
Andy!
I'm Detective Mike Norris, homicide.
Andy!
Miss Peterson's dead, Miss Barkley. She fell from the kitchen window.
Someone's moved in with the Barkley family. And so has terror.
Mommy, I know who was on the counter. Andy!
Who, Andy?
Chucky.
Nobody believes you about Chucky. He came alive in my hand.
Oh, for God's sake.
Why won't you believe me?
Because I'm sane. Mrs. Barkley, sane and rational.
No one believes the truth. Or lives to tell it. There's nothing nice about murder. And there's nothing innocent about child's play.
For his 6th birthday, Andy Barclay asks his mother Karen to buy him a good guy doll that he wants. When a peddler has one for a good price, Karen decides to buy the doll unbeknownst to the dark secret it holds. After Andy's babysitter is violently pushed out of a window to her death, nobody believes him when he says that Chucky, his new birthday doll, did it, until things starts to go terribly wrong. Something has moved in with the Barclay family, and so has terror. Okay, who wants to go first? Okay, no one.
Yeah, I don't really know how to start. Like, it's a good movie, but oof. Like,
Have you seen this one before, Zombie?
I have not. It was a first time watch for me.
Okay.
Like, what I have like seen is like bits and pieces. So like, because of like how big it is, it feels unavoidable, especially considering how much it's been talked about on this podcast. To not know like the meat essentially about like him being in a doll and wanted to kill a kid.
The reason why Chucky is alive.
Yeah. But like you didn't know the details, like how he got this power or all of that. So essentially you knew the plot but didn't know how things moved from point A to point B, essentially. But I will say that it was worth watching, and I can see why it became popular due to like the nature of the movie. It feels, for its time, very unique and whatnot. It's a solid movie. Some stuff like because I like to think about like small and useless details I got onto, but like nothing that like broke the immersion of the movie. Like how is the house still aflame and they are simply ignoring it after Chucky walked through half the living room while like on fire and setting things actively on fire. Like, are those still on fire? And like how the neighbors didn't care jack shit about all of the multiple gunshots that they most likely can hear.
The movie is set in Chicago, so
Yeah.
people are probably used to it.
Must be the case.
Well, the first time I came into contact with the Child's Play series was actually part 3. And it was dubbed into German.
Ah, lovely.
Because
introduction.
I must have been 9 when I saw it for the first time. I had a friend back then who had cable TV, and he recorded a lot of movies off the TV.
The old internet.
But the problem was that it was in most of the movies were dubbed into German because the cable service they had included that channel for some reason. And one of the movies he had recorded off the channel was Child's Play 3, dubbed into German. So that was the first contact I had with the Child's Play franchise. But I rented the first one, which was retitled to The Evil Doll in Swedish, in Sweden. That's the English translation of the Swedish title of the film.
Yeah.
Which basically gives away all.
Yeah. The whole like
the whole point. Yeah, exactly. The twist with the whole film, but at the same time, they're very upfront with Chucky is alive.
Yeah.
he is the killer of the film. But at the same time, they try to toy around with the viewer in the first film. Wow. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they try to. They try to. I'm trying to find another word than toy. They try to play around with the viewer that it might be Andy who is the killer, but you know.
Like throwing red herrings.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't really see the point with that, even though I like the idea, because they used that idea in another movie from the 90s. I won't name the movie, because I will pick it at some point. But I like the idea that it might just be in Andy's head that Chucky is alive.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done that more strongly, in a way, to have it more as a twist. That, like,
Yeah.
maybe, just maybe.
Yeah, because it's very upfront that the doll is alive with the introduction scene.
Yeah.
And then they show his, after Maggie has been thrown out the window, basically. They show the floor on his shoes.
Yeah.
Which of course could have been used as a red herring. I mean, or a clue that, well, it is just in his imagination and his head.
Yeah, like, it would have been one thing if, like, they had made it very clear, like, Chucky and Andy had the same shoe size.
Yeah.
Like, somehow, like, oh, he has very small feet, or oh, Chucky has very big shoes. And they could have been, like, exchanged because they have, like, the same kind of shoes on them.
But
and, like,
different sizes.
yeah, they could have, like, thrown another hearing, like, oh, these shoes seems very worn out, like your old ones, or something, to, like, make it look like he switched places on the shoes or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Ogge, what are your thoughts?
I've seen this before, but a long time ago. So this is a second time watch.
Ooh.
And, I kind of liked it. It drags on a bit too long in the beginning for me, but it's still not too bad because there's some suspense going on.
Yeah.
And then I think it gets really good after Chucky reveals himself.
Yeah, I actually looked that up. It's 45 minutes and about 25 seconds into the film.
Yeah,
When he...
It's a while.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. It's... They try to play on the whole it might be Andy angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that it gets really good, I think, the movie.
Yeah.
But there's things that annoys me, or kind of annoyed me, that the characters behave like stupidly. Like,
Well,
the whole
it
car-
is essentially a slasher movie, so...
Yeah, I know. But like the whole car scene. You know,
I think that scene is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is. But why doesn't he just stab him and kill him? Like, it's not... How hard could it be?
Yeah.
The most hilarious thing with that whole scene, if you look in the background on the green screen, it looks like the car is going like 200 miles per hour. Going
exactly.
fucking warp speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. or like when the car is actually flipped over and Chucky leaves the knife with the dude. Take the knife. Like, the second
Yeah.
you don't pay attention to the knife is when you're gonna get stabbed with it.
Yeah, and like Chucky he could have easily stabbed him, but he just stabs, a seed or something and then runs off. Like, why?
Well,
yeah.
I think that's because Chucky likes to, play with his victims.
Yeah.
But wasn't he also like shot in that car scene, and he was surprised by the fact that he actually felt pain?
That's
blood.
at the end of that scene.
Yeah.
And that's when he goes to John the Voodoo Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
also like towards near the end, like when they're running from him, when they could easily just kick him or throw something
yeah,
at him.
and he went when
Like,
he
he's a doll.
like when he
I would just sit on top of him till he settles down and cleans his room.
like when he comes at them like barehanded, grabs the toy's arms or hands. Like it's still
Yeah.
at the end of the day a toy that like you can just pick him up, hold him at arm's length.
Yeah, but I think it's supposed to be like...
He has
That-
the strength of a normal human.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be that he has transferred his whole what's it called?
His whole being.
Yeah, into the doll. So he has the strength of his human self.
But just the fact
say.
that no one tried to do that is the thing. They just let him on their faces every time he did it. Every time he like
Yeah,
ran
just
at
lift him
them.
upside down. What's gonna do? He's like, he's just a doll. Just flip him upside down.
Like-
Hold him till he settles down.
You guys are trying to make sense of a movie about
Yeah, I
a
know.
serial killer who uses voodoo to transfer his soul into a doll.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. You're not supposed to try to make sense of it, but I can't help but do it anyway.
Like, I'm not trying to make sense of the fact that he is strong and has the strength, but the fact that no one tries to stop him in these specific scenarios that he gets himself in, where he just blindly throws himself at them, and they just, guess I'm gonna get bitten again for like the third time because I let his face near my neck or whatnot, and like they don't try to actually stop him and like show that he has the strength of man. Like, I'm gonna try and wrestle him away by grabbing his arm. Oh no, he is actually strong, so I can't overpower him because he's just a simple toy.
That would have been hilarious if they just stopped mid scene and Catherine Hicks' character Karen was like, "Oh no, he has the strength of a human" in the mid fight, you know.
Yeah, that would be fun though.
Yeah.
Would have been fourth wall breaking, but
Yeah, but anyway, apart from that, I think the movie is good actually.
yeah,
Uh,
it's a little bit. It's a little bit darker than the sequels, to say the least. The first one is sort of like A Nightmare on Elm Street. The first Nightmare on Elm Street is really dark, and it doesn't have that much humor to it. The same goes with the Child's Play. Sure, there are a couple of funny bits here and there, but overall, it's a pretty dark movie.
And it tries to take itself seriously.
Yeah. While in the sequels, it just goes out of hand. But I love the sequels and I love the TV series as well. But I still think the first one is the best one. One thing that I always didn't understand was, you know, when Chucky is stabbing the door at the end.
Yeah.
And Karen is screaming each time he stabs the door. And the last time he stabs the door, he's like an inch or something from her face. Why didn't he just stab one more time?
yeah.
Well, I guess it's hard work. His
Well-
little toy body can't handle it. It can withstand a lot, but stabbing a last final time, that one stab, he's gotta take a break. He's gotta take a breather.
Yeah, he just ran around.
He's
I was expecting a Shining reference. And here we go. Here's Chucky.
that would have been nice.
Well, in Seed of Chucky, there is a reference to The Shining.
Oh. Well, then we'll just have to continue watching the Child Play then. Or Child's Play.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty sure we will, because that's a major slasher series.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second season of the Chucky TV series premieres in like a month, I think, from now, when we are recording. I mean, so when this episode comes out, it would be like 3 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to talk about, like, as we have mentioned before, it's hard to talk about like this movie because it's both well known and it is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It does a lot of things that sets it apart from the rest of the slashers.
yeah.
Well, I think this movie is a bit. It was a bit more commercial, you know,
Yeah.
compared to like Friday the 13th or A Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween.
Yeah. I think it is easier to commercialize than those.
Yeah. Even though it is a slasher movie. But
I
with
think
a
it's-
toy killer.
I think it's because of the nature of it being a toy killer rather than a full-grown as man killer.
Yeah.
That makes it easier to sell, at least in the time that it was released.
Was there any scenes you guys thought was good, suspenseful, or funny, or
In the end, when Chuck gets all burned out and like slowly walking towards Andy.
yeah, that scene,
Yeah.
I love that scene. It looks so fucking creepy.
Oh yeah, like that's the one moment where like he's actually genuinely like scary.
Yeah,
Like not
Yeah.
that you got scared of him, but like that's the scariest point. That's at that point he has been the scariest. Or however you phrase it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really
I
like.
love that scene.
I really like Chucky's knife.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah, me
flashy.
too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I gotta say that's my favorite scene because that's the one scene that stood out the most.
I really like the scene just before Maggie gets killed. You know, the build up to the kill.
Yeah. That's also very nice.
Because there's a pause in that scene as well when the phone rings.
Yeah.
And then right after that, she gets killed. But there's a long build up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's very well done. A very good build up.
There are a bunch of really suspenseful scenes in this movie when you think about it. Another good scene is when Karen finds the batteries in the empty doll box.
Yeah.
And she realizes that Andy might be
Yeah.
telling the truth about Chucky.
Yeah, and when she like drops him under the sofa
Yeah.
and like goes to check for it. That's also like, oh, is he gonna stab? Is he gonna do it?
Talk, goddammit. Otherwise I'll throw you into the fire or whatever she says.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking bitch, you filthy slut. I'm gonna teach you fucking with me.
Good stuff.
What about you, Ogge? Is there any good scenes you want to discuss? Besides the funny car scene.
I mean, I really like the scene after he gets, burned, and even the scene when they are burning him.
Yeah.
It's really suspenseful up until that point. I also mentioned the car scene. Even though it's a bit ridiculous, it's still hilarious as well.
Yeah. It always makes me chuckle when that scene comes.
Yeah. I also like the scene when he's at that voodoo doctor guy.
Oh yeah, Jon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like because it's not really the usual type of like slasher movie kill. It's more of something you will see in, I guess, an action movie or something.
Yeah.
Or something, from a old horror movie like 1930s, 40s.
Yeah.
You know, with a whole voodoo angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like in a more modern like movie where they don't want to show the kill, but want to make sure that oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like show
Yeah.
them getting injured by the voodoo doll, and then just them showing, like doing a killing thing to the voodoo doll, like either stab it, drown it, or something, burn it, and you just hear what happens to the person, but not show it due to censors or just them being more not rated R.
Yeah. So I think that scene they made it way better because you could actually see it happening to him. It was
Yeah, and
way
hear
better
it.
than those.
Like-
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like,
So it's way better than those voodoo scenes usually are. Usually they're pretty tame, but that one is,
yeah,
I wouldn't say graphic. It's a bit graphic.
it's
It's more graphic than it would have been in another movie.
yeah, like
Yeah,
usually they just lightly stab the voodoo doll and just show like dark blood patches show up, like, oh, it's serious. But no, they just go straight for the kill, bending the legs, and you hear it snap, like, ah, and then
yeah,
snapping the arm, and like, yeah, it's,
He
Good
doesn't
stuff.
stab him in the arm, he stabs him in the chest.
yeah, but he bends the arm.
Oh, yeah, true.
yeah,
One scene that always, well, besides the car scene that makes me chuckle is the scene when Chucky is in the elevator, and
Oh yeah,
the old couple is in there, and the woman is like, "Oh, someone has left their doll here. Leave it. They will come back for it." Blah blah blah. And then when they get out of the elevator, she's like, "Ugly doll." And when the
you.
doors closes, Chucky is responsible with "Fuck you."
yeah.
yeah.
The line delivery is so fucking on point.
Like,
Yeah,
it's not the fact that he said "fuck you," is the way how he said it. That was
Yeah,
like, so
yeah.
cool.
That's what makes the whole scene so funny to me.
Yeah,
yeah,
Fuck you.
he sounds so done.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, hey, screw you too.
Yeah, it's sort of like at the end of the thing when he's like, "Yeah, fuck you too,"
yeah.
but a lot more, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the performances in the movie?
Yo.
I think Chucky is done really well, but a lot of the performance are a bit over the top. I wouldn't say it's bad acting, but it's yeah, it's a bit. The acting is a bit over the top, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard for like slasher acting.
Okay. I personally think the acting is really good in this movie. But besides Catherine Hicks, I mean, she does a good job as Karen.
Yeah.
But just after Maggie has died, she it doesn't. I don't feel like she. I feel like she doesn't really show any emotions.
Yeah.
She puts her hand to her mouth and she looks like, oh no. So there's really not much emotion there.
Like, she lets go of her friend's death like very fast. It feels.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what the fuck were the cops doing, by the way? She could just basically just run straight into the apartment.
Yeah, like, sure, she lives there, but
And
it's
no
an
one...
active crime scene.
yeah, and no one asks who the hell she is and why she's there, besides the guy outside of the Detective Norris partner. But he
Yeah.
he just lets her go into the apartment. I mean, that
Like-
would never happen in reality.
Well, maybe back then it could have.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it's an active crime scene. I don't think they would have cared if you lived there or not.
Well, it's also the same time period, I think, where they actively used heavy drugs as medicine, so I wouldn't let it go past them that they did that.
They still do, but
And again, it's Chicago. This shit
yeah,
happens regularly.
exactly.
So-
Yeah. Now I'm overthinking the movie. Apparently,
Yeah.
Haha! How the tables have turned.
yeah.
This movie does that. It's one of those movies
Yeah.
where they don't
Yeah.
behave very logically.
I think Chris Sarandon, who played Detective Norris, was really good as well. I love his expression when Karen tells him that Andy told the truth about Chucky being alive. You can just tell about his from his expression, like, oh no, not you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the kid actor also did a very good job in this.
Yeah, Alex Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he was very
I
like,
mean, I
genuinely
mean,
like kid.
yeah, I mean, he does a really good performance here. Some of the line deliveries makes me grind my teeth, though, like the "Hi, I'm Andy. What's your name?" But
But at the same time, like,
but overall, I mean, it could have been a hell of a lot worse than it is.
Yeah, like-
So
I feel like at all times you have to take like child acting at a certain age, like with a grain of salt.
yeah, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, I can get some of the line were not the best. But I feel like the overall like performance of his character was very well handled.
One thing that I picked up on this time while I was watching the film was that Brad Dourif, who plays Charles Lee Ray and he does the voice for Chucky, he is credited as co-starring. I mean, he's the villain of the film.
He's like one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What
sort
do you
of
mean
like with
co-star?
yeah, it's sort of like with Robert Englund in A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first three. I think it's in part 4 he is the front name in the
Wow.
in the credits at the beginning of the film.
That's like saying like any other major villain in any other like horror movie is a co-star of like the show. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't say that the actor of like Michael Myers or like Jason, you wouldn't call them like co-stars when they are what makes up the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the whole plot surrounds their characters. You can't
And
just like pick them out and drop them and it stays the same. No.
And Brad Dourif's performance is, I mean, even in the low points of the franchise, his performance as the character of Chucky has shined and does shine. I think Brad Dourif as an actor is brilliant. He's really fucking good in basically everything he is in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else other than Child's Play, but from what I have seen,
Have you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
no, sadly not.
What?
I have not seen a lot of movies.
Oh, come on.
I've seen a few movies,
That's one.
and I've
that's
seen a
one
lot
of
of times.
that's one of the best comedy dramas ever made. It's with Jack Nicholson. He's the main guy, but Brad Dourif is in that movie as
I
one
think
of the
that
patients.
may be why I actively avoid comedy movies.
You should give that one a try because it is funny, but it's also at the same time pretty dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a laugh riot, but it has its moments when you chuckle and laugh.
It's
at
not-
it, but
It's not the kind of movie that deprives its humor from secondhand embarrassment.
no.
Oh, thank God. Like, that's the reason I avoid comedies, because, like, I feel like the majority derives its humor from that, and I cringe, because I do not do secondhand embarrassment humor.
Yeah, I think we discussed that on the show actually.
I think I have gone on length on that topic before, yeah. It is not a topic I have not mentioned multiple times.
But you've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, okay?
Yeah, a long time ago, but I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it in college because it was. We had to do an essay of the film. I think it's called. And I was homesick the day they were watching it, so I borrowed the movie from the teacher.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's been over 10 years since I saw it, but yeah, I really need to rewatch that because it is a really good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, then I will watch it.
And then
Someday.
Yeah, and Brad Dourif was also in The Exorcist 3. He plays the Gemini killer in that one. And his performance is great. He was also in a sci-fi action horror movie called Death Machine, which I think I will pick at some point, where he plays the villain as well.
Sounds interesting.
He basically does the Chucky thing, but as a human, and his performance there is basically if Chucky was a computer nerd / hacker.
Okay.
It's really good.
Okay. Noise.
Nice.
We have not given this movie a rating yet.
No, I'm trying to think of things to say about it first. But I guess you guys agree with what I said about Dourif's
Yeah.
performance here.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how the movie would have been if someone else played the role of Chucky. I mean, sure, Mark Hamill did the voice for Chucky in the remake, but I mean, how would the character been if someone else did the role from the beginning?
Yeah. I feel like it was very much a hit or miss in the role of Chucky. Because you needed someone with, like, a sinister voice enough to, like, have it permeate through, like, that of a doll. Like a kid's toy doll. I'm sure there are people out there that could have done the voice acting, mayhaps even better, or at same level of him, but at the same time it's kind of like, how would the Harry Potter series be like if Daniel Radcliffe hadn't played Harry Potter, kind of scenario where, like, it's very hard to imagine anything else due to, like, how impactful he has been to the franchise.
I wanted to say good, but I can't really do that because Daniel Radcliffe is a fucking good actor. So that joke would, you know,
Oh, you better.
face planted into the floor.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know what else to say about Child's Play. Child's Play is a movie I hold very dear to my heart. I mean, as a franchise, I think I would. Yeah, I think I would put this higher than both Halloween and A Nightmare on Elm Street as a franchise. I mean,
Yeah. But as an
big-
individual movie.
as an individual movie, I would put it. Oh, that's a hard one.
Considering we haven't
But-
covered a lot of like. This is the first one, and we have covered more of the other ones.
Yeah. And we haven't even covered the first A Nightmare on Elm Street yet either.
We haven't.
But no, we haven't.
Ah.
I've been
Then I'm
thinking
just-
about picking it, but I haven't gotten around to it. But I mean, the first Friday, the first Halloween, the first A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the first Child's Play are, I mean, they're classics because of a reason.
Yeah.
And they spawned,
Yeah.
each of them, they spawned a franchise because of a reason. So, I mean, it's really hard to...
Like, they all hold a special place in your heart, like, because of how different they are as movies, simply put.
Yeah. No, but Child's Play is one of my favorite slasher genres, slasher franchises, and the first one holds a very special place in my heart. Well, I think that's my final thoughts of the film. Have you guys anything else you want to add before we go into ratings?
Oh,
No, I think I'm all done.
I don't think, due to it being very new to me, like most of the classics has been, I don't think it holds the same place in my heart as the other ones does, because like I don't think it's personally like my kind of subgenre of slashers, but I can definitely see why it has gathered the attention and longevity that it did and has had like over the years. And that's about it.
Okay. What would you guys rate the movie on?
That's
I think it's a
another.
7.
Well,
7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's a tough nut to crack, but I think I'd have to agree with Ogge. Like, it's a very good movie, and it's rewatchable, and yeah, it's hard to describe. It's a nice movie, and that's about it.
No, that like I said on the Cabin in the Woods episode, I couldn't come up with anything why I wouldn't give the movie a 10 out of 10.
Like, sometimes you just can't.
Yeah,
Because, like,
Yeah.
there's no particular reason why. It just is.
yeah.
My rating will of course not be a surprise that it's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's I
Gasp. Who could have foreseen this?
doing the gay gasp.
That's even a bigger plot twist than in the movie.
No, but like I said, this movie holds a very special place in my heart, and it's a movie I can rewatch time and time and time again, and you know, I don't get tired of it, and yeah, it's a fun watch, and it's quick. I mean, when I sat down to rewatch it this time, I sat down and all of a sudden the end credits rolled. So I was like, okay, where the hell did those 85 minutes go? So,
Almost got whiplash there from how fast it went.
yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, I usually don't dig up any background info, trivia, whatever you want to call it, for these bigger franchise movies.
Yeah.
But I did a exception for this one because it got some pretty interesting behind the scenes facts.
Do tell.
The original working title for the film was Batteries Not Included, before it became known that Steven Spielberg was also making a film with the same title. So the title was changed to Blood Buddy before they settled on Child's Play. And the original plot idea was to have lifelike good guy dolls that have blood and latex skin. If the kids tore the latex skin, they could go out and buy official good guy bandages. And in a blood brother pact, Andy cut his own hand and mixed his blood with Chucky's, thus causing him to come alive and become human.
Sounds like an interesting plot.
Yeah, so the whole voodoo angle probably came in last minute. During the initial release, a crowd of protesters formed around the entrance to MGM, calling for a ban on the film.
Wow.
They claimed it would incite violence in children. I wonder if these people even saw the film.
Most likely not.
No. Local news reporters were broadcasting live from the scene, and the producer David Kirshner was watching, disturbed by what he saw. Jeffrey Hilton, who worked with Kirshner at MGM, said that he could defuse the situation in 10 minutes. Hilton went down and spoke to the ringleader, and then the group disbanded to the chagrin of the newscasters. And the Hilton has never specified whether it was threats or diplomacy that saved the day.
Why not both?
Yeah, probably. The Chucky films have always been accused of inspiring violence in children. One case linked to the series was a gang in Manchester kidnapping and murdering a 16-year-old girl. While they tortured her, they forced her to listen to recordings of the gang leader repeating the catchphrase, "I'm Chucky, wanna play?" And this was after Child's Play 3, I think. Director Tom Holland, who directed the film, this film, has always defended the first film from these accusations, however, stating that viewers of horror movies could only be influenced by their content if they were unbalanced to begin with.
Yeah.
Child's Play was also adapted in 1990 and again in 2007 into comic books. The 1990 till 1992 comics were adaptations of the first three films. I haven't checked, but I really want to get my hands on those. Would be cool to read.
Yeah.
Chris Sarandon, who played Detective Mac Norris, also appeared in Fright Night from 1985, 3 years prior to this one, which was also directed by Tom Holland. And Sarandon also did a voice for, and this one is for you, Zombie. He did the voice for Jack Skellington in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, nice. Me likey.
And last thing I dug up what the film was, the whole chanting Chucky does. I checked if I could find a translation of it, and I found a couple of different translations of it. A possible translation of the chant, which is Aitan Creole. I don't know how to pronounce that, but mistaken as French, is as follows. And I got 3 different translations of it, and it goes like this. I call to thee, Dambala, give me the power I beg of you. Leave me mercy from this mortal coil. Grant me life beyond death. Move my mortal soul into this vessel. I command to thee, Dambala, 3 times. Move my mortal soul into this vessel. I command to thee, Dambala, 3 times. Next one I found was, to the almighty Dambala, give me the power I beg of you, to the mercy of my soul, to the point of my death, hear me out from my condemned voice. And the third and last one I found was, I beg of you to help me, gods, give the power I beg of you. If you help me, I shall return the favor. Give me the power I beg of you. And that's everything I dug up. Like I said, I usually don't dig up anything with these bigger titles, so...
But yeah, that was interesting. Nice.
Yep. So, wrapping this pretty fucking long episode up, what is the next pick?
I believe that would be Ogge.
Oh, it's Exit Humanity. A Western zombie movie.
Ooh,
It's gonna be interesting to revisit that one.
interesting.
It's been like 10 plus years I saw it, so...
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and we are playing out with... Okay, I'm a dumbass. Okay, there we go. Nixx End Credits Child's Play theme cover. I found this guy on YouTube. He's called Nixx Nixx Saint. Nixx Saint is his username on YouTube, and he does a lot of cover songs from what I could tell. And we are playing out with his cover of the end credits song from Child's Play. The original is made by Joe Renzetti. And that's about it, I think.
Lovely.
I think it's time to say goodbye to the good folks for this time.
Goodbye, good people. Thanks for listening through this
Goodbye, people.
clusterfuck.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully we hear from you in the next episode. Bye bye.